Do you want to know what the most frustrating part of being a Canadian is right now in 2018? The most frustrating thing about being a Canadian is that we don't have a leader in this country, federally, who is looking out for our country. Our leaders, from the macdaddy to his cabinet, the Liberals, Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau, he is not looking out for Canadians. He is allowing every single country on the planet to walk all over this country. You can name the country, and I'll tell you how they're walking all over Canada. They're just trampling us. They're using us. They're abusing us. They're just trampling over. Canada has become the world's whipping post. They're just whipping us, and they're laughing. I mean, whether it's through immigration, whether it's through the refugee crisis, whether it's through taking our jobs away, or whether it's through imposing tariffs on our products. Every single country in the world is just using, abusing, and just slapping around Canada. And our leaders are letting them do it. And unfortunately, the population, maybe we deserve it because our population doesn't seem to care. They're just like in La La Land. Oh, we like Justin Trudeau. He has such beautiful hair. You fools! But now we see, it's so frustrating. You know, I literally have no respect for anybody at this point in time who has any inkling of for the macdaddy. Justin Trudeau, I call him the long-haired macdaddy. But now we got Donald Trump in the United States imposing a tariff on our products. So there we have again. America is now abusing Canada. He just imposing a tariff. It's just fine. And what's our leaders doing about it? Oh yeah, they may bitch, they may whine, but they don't do anything. They're afraid. They don't. The macdaddy doesn't. The macdaddy's like, whatever. It's bad now. Let me go take more selfies now. A real leader would know what to do. A real leader would stand up for this country, not just by whining and bitching and moaning, saying that this is unacceptable. What are you gonna do about it? This is what I would do if I was the Prime Minister, and Trump, who I like, but I'm speaking as a Canadian right now. Now, I like Donald Trump, and I'm a dual citizen, but here's the thing. I have chosen Canada to be my home. This is the country I was born in. I was born here in this here country. I was born on January 17th, 1993, Oshawa General Hospital in Oshawa, Ontario. This is my country. Most of my family live in Canada, okay? So, you know, I love America, and I had a great time living in America. I lived in Tennessee, and I lived in Buffalo, New York. I loved America. I love the people of America. It's where I get my spirit from. You don't see me with a Canadian spirit. Oh, I'll just accept anything the government does. I got an American spirit. You got to admit. But I love my country, and my mission in life is to try and energize Canadians to be a little bit more, have a little bit more of a fighting spirit instead of just, we'll do whatever. But I think it's changing. But I do like Trump, but I'm speaking as a Canadian. He has imposed tariffs on my country, and I'm pissed off. This is what I would do. If I was Prime Minister, I would say, okay, Donald, Cheeto, I probably wouldn't call him that, but I would say, okay, you impose a steel tariff on our steel products? We'll impose a steel tariff on your products, but we won't just do that. We will use the tariff money that we collect from your products to subsidize all the American companies that had to pay a tariff on Canadian goods. So it'll almost be like the tariff doesn't even exist. That's what I'll do. That's what I would do. And if that doesn't work, then I would impose a tariff on all American goods, and I would use that money, the tariff money that we collect, to subsidize all businesses in Canada. I would use the tariff money to subsidize all the businesses in Canada. So what people might not know what I'm talking about. So free trade is when one country's one company in one country sells a product to another company in another country without having to pay a tax. But when there's no free trade, then let's say, for example, you have a steel company. So the steel will go to America, but now that there's a tariff, that steel, whoever buys that steel has to pay, well, not whoever buys it, but, we have to pay a fee for that steel now. It's not just free. So I would do the same for America. I don't know if I explained it 100% accurately, but that's the best, I don't have time to get into the whole concept and everything like that. But that's generally what free trade is. So what I would do is I would say, okay, America, you are imposing a tariff on our steel, so we will impose a tariff on your steel, and we will use that tariff money to subsidize any company that had to pay your tariff. And if that doesn't work, then we'll just impose a tariff on all American goods, and we'll use that tariff money to give every single Canadian company, a check every month. We'll just divvy up that. We'll take all the tariff money that we collect from you, and we'll divvy it up for all the businesses in Canada. Free money. That's just what we'll do to subsidize. That's what we'll do. That's what I would do. But that's because I have an imagination, and we don't have leaders in this country with imaginations. We have leaders in this country who are pussies, who are cowards, who are internationalists, who don't do all they can to make sure Canada is respected and taken care of. No, we don't have that. We have leaders who are just in la-la land, who don't give up, who are not fighting for our country. And we've seen that. This is the legacy of Justin the Long-Haired macdaddy Trudeau. The macdaddy's legacy will be he is the one prime minister who either took care of or was more concerned about other countries than he was about his own country that he is leading, that he was elected to lead, Canada. Billions of dollars to go to Indonesia to help them with their infrastructure. Billions of dollars to Middle Eastern and African countries to help them with their food crisis. Refugees get free laptops, free college care, free dental care. Canadians don't get any of that stuff. Omar Khadr gets $10 million. But meanwhile, we have natives living with poisonous water. Only now has he just started to realize that and give some money to fix the problem. But then he says veterans are asking for too much. So that's the Trudeau legacy. Taking care of and or being more concerned about other countries than he was about Canada, the country he was elected to lead. And that goes for the whole government. The government is not interested in Canada. They are more interested in making sure all other countries are not mad at us or they're looked after or whatever. He's afraid of Donald Trump. The long-haired macdaddy is afraid of Donald Trump. Now, me, if I was prime minister, yes, I like Trump. I'm a dual citizen. Yes, I voted for him because I'm a dual citizen, but I'm talking as a Canadian. I'm a Canadian first and foremost. That's it. I was born here. That's it. I don't want to be some immigrant in America. I'm a Canadian. This is the country I'm living in, and that's it. So I would say, if the Canadian people elected me, I'd look Donald in the eye and say, you heard the plan I had. That's what I would tell him. This is what we're doing, Donald. This is what we're doing. Cheetah. This is it. You think you're going to just walk all over Canada with Michael Oran as prime minister or with someone else who thinks like me? Or anybody who fought for Canada? Hell no. And by the way, I'm in Ontario right now, and y'all probably know now that there is an election that's about to happen. And I'm hoping that Doug Ford is the leader of the Ontario PC Party so that he can become the next prime minister in the election. Well, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, Doug Ford, he's too much like Donald Trump. He's too bold and brash. He's too much like, he's going to be the Canadian Donald Trump. Let me tell you something about Doug Ford. The last person that Donald Trump wants to see as premier of the largest province in Canada, economically, is Doug Ford. Doug Ford is Donald Trump's nightmare. He wants Calvert Wynne to stay in power. And by the way, while we're at it, he wants the macdaddy to stay in power too. And do you know why? Because both of them, along with Rachel Notley, are so easy to push around. Look how much jobs Donald Trump has taken from Canada thanks to the macdaddy and Kathleen Wynne and Rachel Notley out there. Because of those three people are literally chasing jobs out of Canada with the carbon tax, high taxes, high regulations, high cost of living. It's unaffordable to have a business in Canada, so they just go to America. That's what's happening. Doug Ford would stop that. Doug Ford would stop that in its tracks. I mean, look at, I've noticed every time the macdaddy goes to Washington and he meets with Donald Trump, you see Donald Trump always, I like Justin Trudeau. He's my Canadian friend, my good Canadian friend. Good boy, good. He's always, I like Justin. You see Ivanka Trump, you see the way she looks at Justin? You see the way Melania Trump looks? I mean, I thought Ivanka and Justin were having sex or something. It's because they don't like him because they like him. It's because he is so easy to push around. With Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister of Canada, Canada is the easiest country for other countries to push around. That's why they like him. That's why. Because Canada is so easy to abuse and use and take their jobs and put tariffs and they won't do anything about it. That's why. Doug Ford would not be that way. He would stop the flow of jobs going into America from Ontario. He would. And now people will probably say, oh, well, he'll only do that by slashing taxes and taking away our benefits. Well, this is how you use benefits. This is how we should do it. This is how we should do it. We should rely on we have to stop this notion that the government is the only institution that can provide benefits. We have so many businesses in Canada that are making millions and billions of dollars. And we need to start forcing them to give their employees benefits like health benefits and, social security benefits and all that stuff. Look, if you want to take away the taxes for the businesses, that's fine. But in replacement of taxes going to the government, those businesses should use that money to give their workers benefits. And the people who are unemployed, they are the ones who the government should give benefits to. But people who are employed, the government should be forced to give their employees pharmacare, Medicare, retirement care, workers' compensation, all that stuff. And you would see how much of a burden that would be taken off of our government? I mean, people don't seem to understand in this country. We are facing $1 trillion in debt. Eventually, Canada is going to come to a point where we are only using the tax money that we pay to pay interest on debt. We won't be able to use the money for social care and hospitals and all that other stuff. So we need to use our businesses so then we can take, that's how we need to do it. So no, I'm dead against cutting social benefits. I hate that. We need to use the businesses to give the government a hand in dishing out the money. But bottom line is, with this video, we don't have a leader who is fighting for Canada. And it's time we do. And to be honest with you, I'm saying that the Conservatives would probably be better I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I know the NDP would be just like the macdaddy. They wouldn't do anything. But we have to have a leader to fight for Canada. This is the Arana Nation.